Well, here we have probably the most simple form of a motorcycle that you can find, with a 500cc motor in it, a dry clutch, no transmission, no gears, no brakes. And it's so simple, yet we can complicate it by trying to make all these various adjustments to carburation, ignition, exhaust lengths, wheelbase, gear ratios. We have to find the perfect combination, and that basically starts right here. There's not a lot of suspension here. There is a lot going on with a damper system and these rubber bands which act as a spring to bring the front end back. So you're trying to control with the rubber bands how many bands you want, what kind of bands you want, how much compression and rebound, which is controlled by this damper right here. And although it doesn't look like it's much, it means everything to a rider, from the start to the entrance to the corner to your apex and then your exit. This engine creates this massive amount of power that gets distributed to the back wheel, causing the wheel spin, and it's really controlling the wheel spin is the key element here. This wheel is spinning from the moment you drop the clutch, and it never stops until you shut the throttle off at the end of the heat. Well, as we said, it's all about controlling the amount of wheel spin. The mechanics, they will make a jet change in the bottom of the carburetor, which controls the amount of fuel going in to adjust how much power you want going to the back wheel. And you have a combination of jetting it differently, bigger or smaller, ignition adjustments as well that's transmitted through the coil, and that will either detonate the engine a little bit more or it will liven it up depending on what you're looking for a track like here in Gorjov. Well, we don't have a transmission in these, and we have a dry clutch. You have spring pressure, different types of springs, and it's controlled through a cable up here to the lever on the handlebars. And actually this becomes your traction control, because you can control the lift, you can control the spin, everything with the clutch. We have no gearbox in these bikes, so everything comes down to the gear ratio that you choose. Depending on the size of the track we're riding, you want to find a gear ratio that's going to be perfectly suitable to the conditions and what you're looking for. This is the key element. The riders or the mechanics are pulling the sprocket off, putting another sprocket on. This is where the magic happens. You've got maybe 3 inches of movement here on the rear axle. If you want to move the wheel up, you're basically bringing the tire a little bit more underneath the rider, as we'd say, getting more weight to the rear tire, which gives you a little bit more grip, can be a little more aggressive. Or you can move the wheel back, spreading the weight out, making a little bit more of a smooth ride, or making it more consistent. For someone like me coming to Gorjov, I would probably look at having sort of a base combination of having the wheel in the center of the axle slot with the gear ratio that I would prefer, the right tire pressure, and then we will wait to see what happens with the weather and really how much water they put on the track to decide which way we want to go with our wheelbase and our gear ratio.